Привет, дорогие подписчики и другие зрители канала, с вами 7JokerPark, и мы продолжаем проходить Брокенспорт. В прошлой серии мы добрались-таки до больницы, нашли этого Жана, или Жака Марке, ну вернее как нашли, нашли ту палату, в которой он находится. Пока не знаю, сможем ли мы в нее пройти, попробуем, давайте попробуем. Да, кажется, все не так просто будет.
Bonjour, doctor. Have you heard of a guy called Marquet? He's in quarantine, doc, right behind this here door. Marquet is just the man I wanted to see. I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax. I have to visit my patient. What for? Routine. I have to check he's still breathing. What if he's not? I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant. That's a cold and distant attitude to death. Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness. The white coat suits you. Thanks.
Так, ну, мы сможем пройти
Have you
сейчас?
seen any suspicious characters on the ward? Yeah, I have. A gorilla and a weasel? No. This was a tatty old bear. How is the bear acting suspiciously? Well, he was wearing a Hamburg. Is that against the law? No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Ладно, какой-то непонятный разговор, я думаю... Да, слава богу, нам можно было... Ух ты, ёлки-палки.
Marquet?
Её, походу, дела нехило избили. Откуда он знал?
What are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the jam.
The Lochmar jam.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the assassins.
Имеется в виду Захана, интересно, или нет?
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you will sit in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the jam?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster. Quickly tell him that I found the tripod. Right here in
Ну,
Paris.
треногу мы тоже уже видели.
Not yet, but it's been taken care of. I'll a couple of stooges.
Неужели он говорит про этих Гиду и как там его зовут еще второго?
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know that as for Klaus there. He has gone up to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of
Так, а вот настоящий доктор.
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. Herr Hagenmeier was to hear that.
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Согласен.
And there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui,
Точняк.
monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter.
Ну все, понятно, Марке уже
The
мертв.
door's locked. Help me, officer. Stand back, monsieur.
Да, Марке мертв и убитый скрылся через окно.
Hello, George.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah, killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window. Have you ever heard of the Hashi Ashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't
Согласен.
remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
Ладно, я
I
думаю,
guess
это
I gotta
все.
go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one? Rousseau or Sergeant Nous? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
Понятное дело, с кем? С Андре. Так, музей, да. До сих пор, честно говоря, пока не могу разобраться и понять, кто же здесь есть кто. То есть этот Марке, он вроде бы как, насколько я понимаю, был тоже плохим, но и вот убили другие плохие. Кто же здесь, черт побери, хороший, а? И вообще мне такое ощущение, что даже этот полицейский, который, как же его там зовут, доктор Россо, вернее, детектив Россо, мне кажется, что он тоже на самом деле не самый хороший тип.
Are you Andre Lobino?
That's me. You want my autograph?
Да, разумеется.
I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay, shoot.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn, that's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochmarn tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place,
I heard them planning the raid.
they're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Да уж, отличное предложение.
But don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of 2 men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come around and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. This friend, who has the manuscript,
Ah oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe.
Офигеть вообще. Такой сильный орден был вообще.
Became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained a mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Ну, естественно, вообще-то.
That's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Зато я в этом
Have you
уверен.
ever heard of the Hashashin?
But yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous
Офигеть,
with
парень реально энциклопедия
was formed in
ходячая.
11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassin.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Забавно.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Понятно. Видимо, это все, что мы сможем от него узнать. Попробуем ему показать кристалл тут.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
Алмаз, вернее.
From Professor Peagram's messenger boy.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter.
Так, ну что, все ли это? Давайте попробуем просто опять поочередно показать ему все вещи.
No.
Не знаю, возможно, это чем-то нам поможет.
Take a look at...
Понятно.
What is
Давай
it?
дальше.
Nothing.
Неудивительно.
I'd like to...
Not. What? Inter...
From a Does this...
Halamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Ага, вот что интересно.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
What do you make of it?
Nothing.
Все.
Thanks for your help, Andre. You're welcome.
Так, ладно, мы добились того, что Андре придет. Давайте почитаем. Так, ладно, признаю, что он... признаю, он кое-что знал про Шашинов, Монфасон и про то, куда мне нужно идти. Так. Понятно. Нужно попытаться каким-то образом забрать треногу.
No, mister. No. No. Okay, okay.
Давайте попробуем опять заставить его открывать окно. Сами попробуем забраться туда. Не знаю, насколько нам это сейчас нужно.
It is clothing time, Mr.
Ага.
Lobino.
Очень вовремя.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Это неудивительно.
See you tomorrow.
Good night, monsieur.
Быть охранником, естественно, мне кажется, ты будешь ненавидеть свою работу и считать каждую минуту. Ага, а вот и наши эти гангстеры пришли.
Quit fooling around, you moron. Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Так, ну-ка. Насколько я помню, этот столб качался, так что сейчас мы с помощью этого столба, я думаю, сможем вырубить этих ребят.
What the? Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Давай, 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 Джордж. У, твою мать. Ну все. А? Это еще кто? Это кто был?
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor George.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in
Это
costume.
была она?
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh,
Офигеть.
hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
Так, Лобино приходил.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from Andre Lobino.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bears that crest.
I sure hope so.
Так, ну что, теперь можно, наверное, использовать эту штуку.
Nothing happened.
Yeah,
The gem fits perfectly, but what does that prove?
maybe the tripod has to be in a certain location.
There's nothing on the manuscript to indicate where, though, is there?
Беда. Ладно, давайте попробуем еще раз посмотреть на манускрипт. Может быть, это чем-то нам поможет.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. There's a guy working on a knight with a crystal ball. The knight through my teachings. There's a woman looking at her, but the reflection.
Look there.
Да, пока это ни о чем нам не говорит. Ладно, может быть, нужно снова... Может быть, нужно снова увидеть Лобино. Не знаю, честно говоря. Давайте попробуем. Ну да, Монфасон, точно. Почему нет? Как я сразу это сам не додумался. Как раз где-то здесь, наверняка, нам и нужно будет установить нашу треногу. Возможно, кстати, даже вот в этой церкви. Но я предлагаю, в принципе, на этом закончить, раз уж мы добрались до новой локации, и в следующей серии будем стараться разгадать тайну, то, куда же показывает эта тренога, к чему дальше нас она приведет. Будем все это наблюдать в следующей серии. Но пока не забывайте ставить пальцы вверх, ждем ваших комментариев и до новой встречи. Пока-пока.
You ready?